Welcome to the Liberal 12th Man Show. I'm the Liberal 12th Man, and we are ready to go with a good Monday nightclub edition. We're going to be getting into some of the updates, some of the news, some of the chat, obviously some of the things that you guys have to tell us or have questions about. And and also anything the panelists talk about, that's the basic discussion. It's like being basically a little night out with your mates. So, um, how you guys doing today? I brought together Lee and the Irishman. How are you doing, Lee? Oh, you're
Excellent,
good.
yeah.
I got you. I got you right when you're taking a drink. My
The,
fault.
yeah, a nice swig of Vimto, the old Vimto there. A
There
lovely
you go.
fruity
There you go.
refreshings,
That's
squash,
good.
whatever. Do you what do you call them in America? Like we say fruit squash or something like. What do you call them? Like when you dilute it with water, a fruit drink. What's the American
Fruit
version?
medley, I guess, or something.
Some people call them cordials in Britain. A cordial. A fruit drink that you put water in, like. What's the regulation? What's the most common thing to call it across America?
Cordials.
Oh, what that is? That's a good question.
Because like you've got pure orange juice, but then you've got orange juice which you put water
I don't
in
know what
to
you
make.
call that.
You're
Fruit
having it in
medley? I
America?
don't know.
No way. Didn't know that.
I don't think it. I don't know. A spritzer, maybe. I don't know. A spritzer. I don't know. Well, I'll have to try to figure that one out for you. But the Irishman is here too. How are you doing today, Irishman?
Oh, very well, very well. Love to see so many people in the chat. It's cool. Evening all.
Yeah. Good day. Good Monday. Good Monday showing already. Everybody's ready to rock and roll. Trying to get some insights and get some ideas as to what's going on in Liverpool ongoings. Yeah, today was supposed to be. I think at least that's what the report was. Is that today was supposed to be the deadline, I guess you could call it, for this Zuba mania or Zuba uncertainty. And we haven't gotten any real ideas as to, hey, this is going to happen or this isn't going to happen. I saw shout out to Nalante. Actually, he gave me a little update from Paul Joyce that he saw that I appreciate. He was telling me this, or at least Paul Joyce was telling me this too, I guess. Breaking: Real Sociedad have cranked up the pressure on Liverpool's target Martin Zubamendi by telling him he must trigger his own £51 million release clause from his boyhood club. I saw on Twitter that a lot of the people were going kind of like crazy about in reaction to the statement or the comment or tweet or whatever it's called now, by saying, "Oh, this is how it works. This is how it works." Paul Joyce,
Mm-hmm.
What are you, a moron? Blah blah blah. I mean, technically, yes, this is a release. This is how a release clause works. You offer up the money, But I mean, like, he could, truthfully, still, he could extend his deal, So, like, if he wanted to, he could just extend. Was that?
1 sec, sorry.
Okay. He could extend his deal, or he could, do what they're asking, which is buy his own deal, I guess, and almost like, in essence, buy his own freedom, in essence, from the contract that he's currently on. And thus, by doing that, he is now free to go and do whatever he would like to do. And they would think that in their eyes, they would make it a concerted effort to say, okay, we believe you'll sign here. We'll give you this contract. We'll give you a better contract, blah, 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 with a new release clause involved in it, since all contracts have release clause in Spain. But obviously a higher one that won't be triggered, most likely triggered at least. And what's the issue with that is that Zubamendi has been offered, terms have already been offered to Zubimendi. So by Liverpool. So now he has a case where his boyhood club is offering him a new deal. It just so happens that his new deal by his boyhood club is still not the same as the Liverpool deal. So it's almost like they're saying, yes, stay with us for more money, but less money than you can earn. Stay with us for longer, but yet we understand you want to do, obviously most players want to go on to Champions League and titles and the likes, but it's not happening at Real Sociedad currently. They're not in a place to do that. It's a weird situation. It's a weird situation that this is in right now. So,
the whole thing hasn't exactly been lacking in drama, has it? And intrigue.
Certainly not. Certainly
alleged truths about like his contract and all this, like, or half truths about his contract and what some circumstances is.
Well, can I just quickly on it? I'm sure what I didn't see it. So what I'm assuming these people are referring to is the fact that a club can't buy your buyout clause. The player has to, like in the same way that it's legal to have the buyout clause, only a player can actually pay it. Liverpool can't pay money into an account which activates that clause. Technically, only a player can do that. So when these deals happen is basically it's set up that basically Liverpool give the player the money, usually through lawyers, and then the player triggers his own release clause because it's illegal for a club to do it. So that's what they're referring to.
That's what they're referring to, right?
Yeah. Right. So that's why you see these. You always see these pictures of like two lawyers showing up at the FA headquarters to pay a release clause. You always but the club can't.
But the club can't get. But Real Sociedad can't give him the money to pay their own release clause. That would be kind of.
Well, no, they can. Why would they give him the money to buy out his own?
No, I get that. But what I'm trying to get across is that Real Sociedad is asking him to buy out his own release clause
that's what we're saying. But that's what I'm saying. He has to. We can't. He has to. We have to give. Someone has to give him the money. Then he can pay it up and buy it out. I mean,
but okay. So here's the point that you're not. I guess you're not seeing which I'm trying to bring up is that Liverpool.
Oh, hang on. Are you saying they want him to break his deal and sign a new contract?
Yeah.
Oh well, that's completely different. I don't know what if they wanted to give up. No, I don't know. What that's
he'll become a free agent. He'll become like in essence like a free agent in essence.
That's weird. I don't know what's going on there. So look, until I read that story, that's just weird. I don't know what's happening there.
That's what Paul Joyce tweet from earlier today. That's why it's a weird circumstances, like set circumstances that because and that's why I was trying to make the emphasis that you're completely right. Like the way Brian's very knowledgeable about a lot of this stuff. So that's why I'm glad he brought the context behind it. In that Liverpool would have to pay like the lawyers and everything else, or give the money to the lawyers to pay
transfer the money.
Transfer the money to the lawyers so they can do the thing and everything else and get the deal done. But Real Sociedad is saying, okay, why don't you buy it out yourself?
Oh, that's bizarre, man.
Yeah, that's why it's kind of weird.
Can we take one of those pills where we go to sleep for a week and we wake up and this is all done? Because this is getting fever dreamish now. Like, this is weird shit. Why can we not just get involved in a straightforward bloody transfer? What was it like Dominic Szoboszlai? We just went there and, guess what? We signed Dominic Szoboszlai. Like, nobody knew about it 2 days before. Why did we have to get involved in the most bizarre transfer? I don't know. This is a really weird one.
I feel like that a lot lately, Brian, where I just want to take something and wake up like 3 months later. But I don't want to miss 3 months of my life at the same time because I'm getting old now. And that'd be bad.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. High Lord's putting it here. He's saying
I could do
players consider an asset while he is on the books, and that is why another club cannot trigger a lease for an asset while still on the books.
Yeah, it is. It's quite good the way it works. That it's quite straightforward, but it's not what people are used to in England. But it's bizarre.
Yeah,
it's bizarre. I mean, how we haven't landed it. I mean, how we haven't kind of brokered it to the point. I surely we would have known the lay of the land before we went in, because it looks like it's gotten very, very rough all of a sudden.
Yeah,
Maybe we thought we were going to have a much smoother road to this than we are,
yeah.
because Sociedad are kind of kicking up a big stink. Now, look, there's no dirty tricks in the paper. There's nobody slagging anybody off. There's none of that stuff that you used to get back in the day. Directors, oh, Liverpool are disgusting, trying to get our star player. There's none of that kind of stuff been going on, which you used to get a bit of. Not that I've seen. Happy to be corrected, but it's been done professionally enough. But it's messy. It's getting to the
Mhm,
messy stage now.
mhm. There is certain what's going to be interesting too is that there have been reports that and I don't know if Daryl's in the chat or not, because this would probably perk his ears or definitely make him happy to hear. But
He was
apparently
anyway. He was there a minute
the
ago.
Toon Coop Miners deal has kind of fallen apart a little bit. Apparently, um, according to sources, Juventus were believed to be in the pole position to acquire him, but that deal has kind of fallen off a little bit. He's obviously got until August 31st, which is the cutoff. But that would be pretty late in the window, or not in the window, excuse me. We would already be into the season if that was going to be the case. If we're gonna wait for whether Juventus actually does make the deal work or not. Oh yes, he is, Daryl. Big up, Daryl.
That
Um,
sounds like something Dara is saying in the pub. Get me a Coop
yeah,
Miners.
yeah. So, so apparently, the report is that, we obviously are interested. I know that Slot is very, very keen on the player, likes the player a lot. But as of right now, it's still up in the air as to, whether Juventus is going to be able to complete the deal or not. And that's now putting in another angle into it all, into like this, I guess you could say also another angle into, you know, if let's say hypothetically this Zubamendi thing is still like in limbo, and the Coop Miners camp says, come and get me, do we just go for Coop Miner, who isn't a six, by the way? He's not a six, but like it would be just another addition to the midfield, so that's a big question. I don't.
Mm,
Are you? Do you like Coop Miners? Coop Miners, excuse me, Lee, and then we'll go to
Lee?
Irishman.
Not really, no. Not as an alternative to Zubamendi, I don't know. No.
Okay. How about for you, Irishman?
Uh, I I'd be a bit disappointed there. I'm sure if he came in and he was one of the lads, he'd do a strong job. But I think, as you can tell by my reaction, he's a bit of a meh guy. Not that I ever go screaming and shouting, but I mean, I'd be like, oh, great, it's a body. He's obviously good at football. He plays for Holland, but needle movers, yeah, zero on the dashboard there.
Okay.
Mate, I'd rather we went back and took a punt on Andre Trindade and bought bloody Cooper Miners. At least Trindade's similar-ish to Zubamendi in the area that he plays, and like he's meant to do. Cooper Miners ain't a defensive midfielder, is he?
Yeah, I mean, it's not about the player really, Darrell. It's just, do we need something there? I mean, of all the places, do we need another Jones, Gravenberch hybrid type?
I
We
mean,
need a
Gakpo can play
specialist.
attacking midfield, can't he? So do we really need Cooper Miners? Even Gakpo can play attacking midfield. Well, he played in three last season. Yeah, he didn't.
Yes,
He played on the left of three a few times, Gakpo.
Darrell is saying there he's a 10. Do we need a 10? And
Yeah,
we just sold a 10.
that's
We just
yeah,
sold Carvalho.
I'd
yeah.
have him from the point of view like that. He'll probably do a good job and he'll be a solid signing, but he just doesn't excite me, Cooper Miners.
Mhm.
In lieu of not getting Zubamendi, let's say, if that's the reality, then signing him instead would not placate me. I'd still be, where's our DM? Where's our DM? Where's our
Do the
DM?
thing. Do the thing. Do the thing where you put them up beside each other on what was it, FBref? Do that thing where you put Coop Miners in with Zubimendi. That thing on Transfer Market, where you put the compare two players.
Even though they play different positions, you mean? Or
Exactly. Just to highlight how different they are. Because I want to see how different. Because Darrell is saying he's a number 10, and Lante is saying he's not a number 10. Lante's saying an 8. So I'd like to see. That'd be interesting to see. I mean, we can do other stuff, and you could line it up in the background and chat away. Just as a quick
something for you
as a quick visual aid, those little player comparison things that they do. They're pretty cool. You can see.
Sure.
Because he's again someone like I know. Coop Miners.
1 second. Let me see if I.
Yeah, if you we'll chat away. Like I saw him in the UEFA, right, in the Europa. I saw a little bit of him, and I saw a little bit of him playing for Holland. I don't know about you, Lee. Have you seen him actually play a lot of football? I mean, who have you seen play more? Have you seen him or Zubimendi?
I would describe him as no more than useful. Cooper Miners, whereas Zubimendi is like super useful.
Would you have seen more of Zubimendi play or more of Coop Miners play?
That's a good one, actually, because I can't say that I've seen either of them extensively, but I have watched both of them. Which one I've watched more? I've probably seen Cooper Miners more, actually,
because they played us.
More about Zubimendi, from reading the press about. I knew about Zubimendi ages ago, a long time ago. Remember when they were in the Europa League final, weren't they? Sociedad against United.
First time I heard about him was probably about a year ago. I'd say it was last season, and because my ears pricked up because it was deep line Sociedad midfielder. Zubimendi, which is a great name as well. There's been a couple of them around, and the whole Alonso link. So that I remember, honestly, it's probably a year at most. It was that I kind of remember hearing his name properly, and then Coop Miners only from when he played for Atlanta, right? When we played him. I mean, there was that, and he got a game for Holland there recently, and I noticed him coming on because people had been talking about him. But is he someone that I was like, oh, that guy, I remember hearing about him since he was young, and he's this and that. It's just a guy that kind of all of a sudden comes out of nowhere, very kind of 7 out of 10 type of guy by the sounds of it. Never he's not going to be that Cantona moment or that Roy Keane moment or that Suarez moment, where guy that changes the landscape, like.
What are the stats? What are the statistics that you want to try to show in comparison?
Oh, I just thought they'd kind of, if you put both their names in, they'd show up their
I have another. There's another website that I use that doesn't have all the videos and stuff going on, so that I can use it. It won't chop up my. RAM.
Right, yeah. Oh,
so I suppose. But I had to pick what I want, like goals, passing, duels. What particular?
Just
area?
midfield. So say. Passing, tackles, recoveries, interceptions, and passing, tackling, interceptions, recoveries, and that should be good. That should do it for a start.
Let's see what else. Duels. While I bit this together for you guys, there is a quick update too, is that a new report in Spain claims Liverpool have set Wednesday now as the deadline for Zubimendi to announce his decision, with their two problems being how to pay his clause and securing a positive decision from the player. While Liverpool will pay his clause one way or another, it is noted that they would like to negotiate. It is also claimed that Liverpool considers Zubimendi It is also claimed that Liverpool considers Zubimendi gave them his word, while his representatives are in favor of him not missing out on this opportunity. So,
the deadline was always soft. Like, we were never going to say to the player, because someone made a really good point about that earlier on, that's given that, like, Liverpool being kind of like, Not like, oh, if it's not done by midnight, it's off. It's giving that player a bit of space, but it's also letting everybody know that, look, this needs to be done quick. Like we said it last night, deadlines can be moved. Deadlines can always, their deadlines were made to be moved. So it would be, I think it's obvious that the fee, the money, all of that, do we pay it all now? Yada, yada, yada. I don't think that's going to be a deal breaker here. I think if it comes down to it and we just have to pay the 51, we'll do that.
Yeah,
We did it with Dom.
that's not. Yeah, that's definitely not a deal breaker.
That's not what's going to. Yeah, that's not what's going to stop this. So,
right.
We're just, the fact that we're trying to get the extra 10 million to them to do it over time.
Right.
That's the bits we don't really know. But I think it's obvious that if they said, look, just give us the pay the release clause and we'll let him go, as it were. We'll give him our blessing and he'll be off. He'll be on the plane in the morning. Then I'd say, right, okay, cool. We can do they say we're not interested in a longer term. Put the money in tomorrow. The boy is yours. So that would be something we can do. But this is just no way he is playing against Ipswich now at this stage. No chance.
Yeah.
I didn't think he would anyway. Even if we signed him, started against Ipswich, it would have been too quick a turnaround. I think.
Yeah, I was saying even if we'd signed him at 9 a.m. this morning, I'd said if we'd signed him today, he would have been on the bench. Any later than today, almost certainly not. Almost no chance. But hey, look. Yeah, now look, we're not stuck. It's not like we have two goalkeepers injured and we're trying to get a goalkeeper in. We would play him if we signed him on the freaking Thursday. He'd be in. But I think, like I said, at this stage...
What you said last night, Brian, about one of the things that not annoyed you, but disturbed you about Klopp was the time it took to put new players in, like Robbo and Fabinho. Yeah. It didn't make me distraught or anything, but it did at times, like when Fabinho took so long, because I was overjoyed when we finally bought Fabinho, because although Henderson did adequately in the six, he wasn't what we needed, you know what I mean? We needed Fabinho. And when it was taking time for him to get in the team, I was like, what's this all about? But Jurgen did come out, didn't he, and explain, if you remember rightly, he said, look, it's going to take a bit of time to get him up to speed with what we're doing. And it did. And Fabinho was a Brazil international at the time. You know what I mean? He's no slouch, mate. He'd been a Brazil international for ages. But there you go.
Okay. So I have here, what I did here is since we're talking about, since he's being claimed to be a 10, and I know Martin Zubimendi is not a 10. So, I mean, it is kind of weird to compare him in there, or I'm sure some people will probably be like, why are you comparing it? Blah, blah, blah. But we're going to put him in I put him in against Coop Miners, and I also included Harvey Elliott, since Harvey Elliott has played that role for us as of late. And I also even put Dominic in this comparison, just to see some other numbers up there as well. I don't know how big, hopefully that's big enough for you guys to see, but this is per 90. And they've all played about the same amount of games. There's 31 games, 34 games, 33 games across the board there. Surprisingly, Harvey Elliott has a good number of when it comes to the numbers, when it comes to open play passes, chances created, excuse me, excuse me, passes completed, passing accuracy, through balls, take-ons, overrun. He's all the hands-on winner in those categories. When it comes to duels contested, he also is Coop Miners comes in at 10.2, but Dom is at 10. Duels contested 7.9 for Harvey and 7.8 for Zubimendi. It gets down to take-on success. The take-on success percentage, Zubimendi Zubamendi, but not making a hybrid. Super minors. Zubamendi, take on success is up there in the sense of 70 around 70.59%. And everyone else is more in the 40s. And then aerial duels and clearances and interceptions. Zubamendi is the victor in those categories.
Well, the idea, what I was wanting to do, it was more not about like seeing who's best or who's anything. Basically, because someone said he's a 10, someone said he's an 8, and someone else said no, he's not a 10. So what I was hoping to is if you'd put up Zubamendi's stats and then his stats, then that would compare the two of them, not to see who's better, but just to see how similar Coop Miners is. So that could tell me how defensive he is as a player. I mean, so I just like that's really what I was wanting to do because I don't know what kind of player Coop Miners is. So I was just wanting to see how similar his stats in certain things would be to Zubamendi's, would show me how similar he is to Zubamendi. That's kind of what I was trying to get at. I don't really know what kind of player he is. Like Denante saying he's an 8. Dara was saying he was a 10. So I don't think that's a thing. Like I didn't think he was a 10. I thought he was a defensive midfielder. I wouldn't expect him to be better than Arby or Dom at those things. So I was just trying to see if we compared them, it would show me how close to them they are. So how similar they are. Like, like when you put them into the, like, when you put the Zubamendi in and then you say like show similar players, like would Coop Miners show up for Zubamendi? Would Zubamendi show up for Coop Miners? Because I really don't think that we need someone, like if it looks like he's not, we don't really need another guy in that can play 8, can play 6.5. We don't, like we need an absolute specialist and who's a real elite specialist because that's what they've been saying. And to me, Coop Miners just seems like Johnny squad player, a real typical Dutch player, kind of really, really good in lots of different positions, but not a real top guy in any one. That comes in and makes it his place.
Rotation.
Yeah. I really don't want us to buy him. Sorry, Darryl. I really don't want us to buy Coop Miners now, man. I'm sorry, dude. Like, if you told me he was a deep line playmaker that was good at receiving the ball from defenders, good under pressure, and can release the ball and can tackle and intercept, good positioning, and can distribute the ball, but doesn't want to be any further than the halfway line. That's what I'd want. Again, we don't need runners in midfield. To me, he looks like a runner,
The only type of players I want us to buy, there's some of the players that are going to go straight into the team in the way that Alisson and Van Dijk did and improve it. I want first teamers. I don't want squad players, mate. I don't want an extra option on the left wing instead of Salah. Mate, we've got Diaz and Gakpo and Jota. Shut up. We need a defensive midfielder and a centre-back. End of. Not more. We don't need Einright, Nori. We don't need friggin' whoever it is up front that you like. We don't need any of them. We need a centre-back to replace Joel Matip, and we need a defensive midfielder, and then we're good to go.
Yeah. Speaking, defensive midfielders, there was the talk of the fact that we were, or defensive midfielders, at least defense, I should say, not defensive midfielders, but there was the talk that we were on the verge of getting Hincapié, or at least close to getting Hincapié. Yeah, I know. The report claims that Liverpool made a higher offer than the Parisians to Frankfurt after learning the two had reached an agreement over the defender. However, the approach for the Reds camp was too late as the Germans had already given their word to PSG. So, basically Frankfurt was already after agreeing terms with the League One side. Frankfurt had to reject Liverpool's offer in order to finalize their talks with PSG. Pacho signed for PSG last week, beating the rivals to his signature in a 5-year deal worth They reported 45 million euros, all in 38 million, all in 38 million pounds, all in. According to Sky's Florian Plattenberg, his move will be a disappointment to us, I'm sure, because I know some of us are.
What, he has moved? Are you saying he has moved? It's done. He's there.
Yeah, he's done. It's a done deal. It is a
All
done
right.
deal. So Pacho is now going to be moving to France, and we will not be able to get that as a resource. I would like to see us take that momentum then, if it means that we are willing to spend more than the reported 38 million. So let's just say like this, if our offer was higher than it reportedly higher than the 40 million, now we're starting to get into the range of that Bastoni number that was been reported as being the sweet spot. So yeah, I would love to see that happen, if that could be the case, if that could be the alternative, or at least the incentive, because this was another thing that has been brought out, and I'll bring this up right now. That's actually
I
a
heard
small
not
here.
long ago that Inacio's buyout clause has gone down. Actually, they'll take less for Inacio this summer, Sporting. I read. Don't know if it
Okay.
was a good source.
I don't know if Ignacio has a release clause or not.
You know what I mean? It was an article by an alleged journalist anyway. Like, it wasn't bullshit. I don't think, and it was saying, yeah, Ignacio will be available for less than what was being quoted last summer.
Right.
Why he's worth less all of a sudden, I don't know, but maybe they want the money or something like that.
I know that, like, I don't know about the release clause for him off the top of my head, if there even is one, but I know that even though there is a release clause, if they were to take less money than the release clause, if there is one, that says something about the player.
Well, they put it up. It was at like 45, and then all of a sudden it was 60 euros, 60 million euros. It was 45 at first, and then when we were interested, they put a thingy in, like, to put it up. But
Yeah.
apparently it went back down again. So I don't know if it's bollocks or what. Like,
Well,
but
it makes it, the reason why this makes it an interesting question. I mean, like, again, I know that Brian's very high on Bastoni. I'm extremely, like, bullish on Bastoni. I was very high on Scalvini, but it was a case where, like, Scalvini has just got a knee injury, so that kind of, like, tempered my interest in trying to pursue him. I wish him the best in his recovery, but it just tempers the interest. And why I'm bringing this up also is because this report has been released on, I saw this on Twitter at least. Virgil van Dijk remains in limbo as the Liverpool captain is no nearer to signing a new contract. The Dutchman has entered the last year of his contract, and Liverpool risks losing a £75 million signing on a free transfer next summer if no deal is agreed. Van Dijk said in May that he loved being at Liverpool and was very happy at the club, but there has been no progress in terms of securing his future. Quote, there is no changes at the moment, he said, the 33-year-old, who is one of three major players in the last season of their current deals, along with vice captain, obviously, Trent and Mo Salah. So right now, like, I know that we have a real situation with getting players involved in these contracts, or getting these players involved in a sense of, like, getting their contracts done. The last thing you want to do is deal with have that contract BS be something that you can that you have to, like, have on your mind during the season. So, like, with that said, I'm looking at it as I'd like to see us get. I'd like us to figure this thing out. We have a real concern with the three major stars, basically, that need to get their contracts signed. and I'd like to see that get finalized. I'd like to see this. The Zubamendi stuff is not necessarily anything helping any of our interests as well, with it being out there that we don't know what's going on with that. It's a real situation.
Sorry.
Yes.
Can you send me the link on X?
Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
But yes. So yeah, it's a. Are you worried? I'm not particularly worried about this year, as in like I'm not particularly worried about. My concentration is on this year. I know, bottom line, the contracts will get done. There was a report that I think there was a report out there that even Barcelona is coming out now saying that Barcelona's coming out saying that telling Trent to just hold tight with not signing his deal, and to how do they put it, that they'll go in for him if he's a free agent, and I'm not a free agent, but if he's available on a free, Barcelona would be very interested in pursuing Trent Alexander-Arnold. It's a funny situation that we find ourselves in.
Can you send that
Say
again?
One more time, Brian.
Can you send that again? I didn't get a link.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm doing it right now. I'll just wait.
Oh, sorry. Just for
Yeah, it's sent. Yeah.
Great. Nice.
I sent it to you. But yeah, it's just an interesting set of circumstances that we find ourselves in, and like, there's also been talks now too that this is an episode that we might that we're still trying to put together. There's an episode that we're trying to put together that will like bring some clarity for everyone, maybe enlighten people with some of with the circumstances that a lot of teams find themselves in. But there's also been a report also now that Chelsea, because I just saw Realism Jarrett's bring up a question here. He said Chelsea already spent 189 million, basically the report I saw was 200 million, but they spent 189 million euros and want 2 or 3 more players, and sold 101 million, but want more out. What are they doing?
That's Darrell.
I was going to say that what's interesting is there's a report now out there that with that Neto deal that they just made, they are now being investigated for FFP or PSR rulings, violations possibly. That's the report.
Well, the Gallagher deal is collapsed, hasn't it? Because they can't buy that Ahmed. Oh Christ.
Yeah. The guy from Fulham. Is it? Oh no,
they were supposed to get him.
Mm-hmm.
But now that's fallen through. So Gallagher might not be going. Gallagher might be stuck at Chelsea.
That's a big chunk of their change that they were banking on having.
That's the whole thing. Yeah, like Julian Alvarez deal went through, so that's okay. People were kind of talking about that. But as of this morning, unless someone in the chat can update me, but that honestly, I can't pronounce the guy's name. Ahmed, I can't remember how to say it more than not pronounce it. And I keep saying Ahmed Ahmedale, the guy who plays for Ireland, and that's not even how you say his name. But that collapsed somehow out of nowhere, and now Gallagher is stuck. Maybe Leverkusen were looking at him, but yeah, that's all gone a bit sideways for them. So yeah, like that, and that was a pure, that like you alluded to, that Gallagher deal was pure profit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why like
impact.
That'd have a big impact, and it also made me question. Like, I was questioning how they were able to afford all these deals anyway. I don't know if you were in the same camp, but
yeah,
like,
mate, big time, big time.
Like those are some for a club that normally doesn't make those kinds of deals. I was like very interested as to like how they were able to do a lot of those deals.
Yeah.
So that was interesting to me. But Chelsea is a whole set of different, set of apples to our basket, because they're just on some other settings when it comes to the expenditures that they're bringing in.
As long as this massive expenditure keeps breeding failure for them, I'm okay. You can
Well, it has done so far.
as long as it keeps producing failure.
Yeah,
It's been consistently, downward trajectory.
yeah.
Per pound spent down places in the league, it must be one of the greatest achievements of all time. I mean,
It has been quite startling in its the speed of it, just the speed of it, like the rapidity of it, like how quickly Chelsea have declined. But I'm loving it.
they're stuck, you see, in a tiny ground. They have a problem. They have a very tiny ground, and they can't expand it, and they can't afford to move somewhere that they want to move to. They have a big problem with that, Chelsea. So they've decided to become something else, and it seems like a kind of a player factory kind of thing vibe they've got going on, which is very, very odd. And their fans claim to love it, and I think it's the one of the few clubs in the world that you could do that at, and the fans are like, yeah, don't give a shit, mate. Spend more, cry more, spend more. I mean, I
think they've been conditioned to it. I just think they've been conditioned to it. The way that they went from. I mean, they weren't that way before or at least they weren't like.
They were always horrible. They were always horrible.
I was going to temper. I was definitely going to make sure that my comment had context. They weren't exactly.
They had a very brief
like
golden
cool
period
to talk to. But,
No, they had a very nice cool period when they went full like 90s football with Hullet and Vialli and Zola and that kind of stuff, and that was kind of okay. They brought Hullet to the game or to the English game, so we'll give them that. But yeah, they were always a mid-table club who might get close to a cup, but they were always that kind of thing. Like, so, yeah, they're all for it. Like, spend more. Who cares?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Bonkers is putting our income so far that we've made. That's a nice bit of change right there. Solanke 9.2 million, Carvalho 27.5 million, for a total of 36.7 million so far. There's a couple other players that are possibly slated to go out on either loan, if not as a sale, because we still have to find out what is going to happen with Bobby Clark. We're going to have to still find out what's going to happen with who else is on the Ben Doak, possibly. There's been some pursuers of him as well. So there's a lot of like pieces still to move here, to tell you the truth here. Tyler says Chelsea are doing a lot of buying and selling, but would you be surprised if he told you that there is one club in the Prem right now who have net spend more money than Chelsea? I wouldn't be surprised. I would take a guess as to say that probably would be it might be United, or
I would have said Man United.
Yeah, I think United, because United had a big
chunk
of change go out on that Euro deal.
They haven't sold anybody, I don't think. I can't think of anybody United have sold. So their net spend would be pretty high up there.
They haven't brought a sausage in yet, as far as I know. No, not a sausage.
We have Coop Miner's younger brother or older brother here apparently. I was waiting for you to come off mute to
with the Solanke deal. Yeah, it's Tottenham with the Solanke deal.
Oh, Tottenham. That's a surprise.
I don't think they've sold anybody either.
You know what? That is net spend. Yeah, they probably have, because Archie Gray was a big sale, or big not sale, but big purchase for them. And then they've only sold one player. They sold Joe Rodden to Leeds for like around 12 million or something like that euros. But is Coop Miner's brother ready?
Coop Miner's agent.
Agent, brother, family member. Are you there?
I'm here. How are we doing?
Okay, just making sure. I was waiting for you to come off mute to introduce you. So, how you doing today?
Guys.
Are you doing good,
not
Daryl?
bad, boys. Yeah, not bad.
Good. Talking a little bit of news here. Talking a little bit of what is to come for this club, I guess you could say. I wanted to really talk. I know you want to talk about Coop Miners, I'm sure, but before we go back to that, I wanted to definitely bring up something too. With this, I had a question in that with the way that you've seen the six work for us so far. Do you think? I mean, look, don't get me wrong. I understand that that Zuby would be a great addition to this team. Okay, he does a lot of what we're looking for, a lot of what we're requiring or asking for our six to do. But if this deal falls apart, or maybe it goes south, or maybe Zubimendi does have second thoughts and ends up staying with the club, with this boyhood club, are you confident that we can still get the production that we need from Gravenberch or from we haven't seen it yet per se, but I don't think Mac. I don't know if Mac is going to play that sixth role for us like that or not. But from the sources, from the choices that we've had in the sixth, whether it was Dom, whether it was Grav, whether it was Curtis, do you think that we're okay, even if we don't get Zubimendi? That's my question. I'll start with. I'll just go up the line here. I'll start with the Irishman, then go to Lee, and then I'll go to Daryl. Irishman, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think with Gravenberch this season, I think we saw how pivotal he could be. If we don't get someone, I think he's the one who's being overlooked in terms of how much he can have an impact. Because that kind of double pivot role is kind of made for him. He's got all of those attributes to be that second guy in there. But as the main Zubimendi type guy in there, probably not. But I think we're happy to roll with what we have unless we get the player we want, which is a policy I've criticized in the past because people were kind of going a bit overboard on it, especially when with Van Dijk and with Allison. It was we only go for our number one target and nothing else. It's like, yeah, but sometimes you need to be a bit flexible, So there needs to be other people in the picture, but they seem to have focused in on one or two here. Just one at the moment, Zubimendi. But I think I would love to see a double pivot of Zubimendi and Gravenberch. And then with McAllister or Dom in the 10, just in other game, in a different game here and there. So I really don't know, but I think Gravenberch is the kind of player who could have a breakout season this year. I think he could be someone who, by the end of the year, he's actually in the team full time, and he has everything. Yeah,
he has a lot of. I think this is his time. I mean, he's young enough. He's definitely has the skills. He's a talented young man, and this is his time. If he could to go from wonder to wonder kid to just wonderful, I guess. Lee, what's your take? Is it this is the question I asked in the chat is, are you confident in a team without Zubimendi, or is it Zubimendi or bust for you, basically?
So you're saying if we don't make any additions in midfield or confidence? Yeah,
like as in if we end up holding pat with the six at least. This is our concentrating on the six.
Well, if Bajcetic is going out on loan, that'd leave Endo as the only real six, wouldn't it? So it'd be like maybe even Gravenberch or even Macher or something like that. I don't know.
Right.
That's what we'd have to. He'd be our number six, wouldn't he, Endo? Because if Bajcetic went on loan, there wouldn't be anyone else. So yeah, I think we could do all right still with Endo and Bajcetic, Endo and Gravenberch or Endo and Mach. As a double pivot, we could have a seat. We could
You might get to January.
Yeah.
You could look again in January if we didn't get something over the line. I think that's something I forgot. Yeah, don't forget about January.
Very
Because
true.
everyone, a lot of people at this end are off, but if he's our only DM when we kick off the season, then it's hard to see who else is going to bloody play, isn't it? Like,
Daryl, are you okay if we hold tight? Is it Zuba Mendy or bust for you?
For me, it's Zuma Mendy or bust. To be honest, if I'm personally honest, I just think we've been crying out for that 6 for the last few years since Fabinho was on the decline, and we've been chasing, crying for a number 6. I think we need that player because for me, I think Zuma Mendy, apart from Rodri and apart from Partey, I'd say Zuma Mendy's the 3rd best DM in the world right now. If I'm being personally honest, he's a must for me. He's the thing between going for a Premier League title for me. Because if he comes in and we get a centre back, I think we're challenging for a title. I really do.
Okay. I just saw I just saw Honesty's comment there.
But just quickly, Daryl, do you think that we also, like, I would say to go for the title, we would need Zubamendi or a player of equal quality locked in. But I would also say we would definitely need a centre half and probably a right-sided attacker, a right-sided forward, but definitely at least a Zubamendi and a Bastoni, or a Zubamendi and a Hincapié. I don't think even him on his own is enough to push us over the line to the title.
No,
Would you not?
I completely agree, Brian. I think we definitely need a centre half. I think it's writing on the wall for a forward that Gordon probably will get done before the end of the transfer window. I can see that happening, if I'm being honest. Probably he's that right winger. Well, I know he's a left winger, but they're looking at him to play on the right wing for a future Salah replacement, Andy Gordon. Centre half for me, obviously a Bastoni would be amazing, but you're looking at like 70 million. You're looking at 70 million for Bastoni. It's a lot of money, but there is centre halves out there that are available. Joachim Manderson's available. I really rate him. I think
he's a brilliant player. Brilliant player.
He's available. He's available.
I think if the number's 70 million, I say get it done. That's if
like 100. Sorry, Trevor, but yeah, but 120 for Zubi and Bastoni doesn't sound like a lot, does it?
No, that's why I'm sitting at it. Like, as in 70 million, get it done, in the sense of, like,
in this day and age.
What was Gravidol? His deal was
90, dude.
Yeah,
90.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're telling me you're gonna bring in an already extremely talented, established, in his prime, center back, very similar to what we did with Virgil van Dijk, I'm like, hey, sign me up. That's at least my opinion. I'm all in on Bastoni if that's the number it takes to get him in here. And I don't think that it would take that much money to. It's not going to be you have to pay him more. You're not going to pay him any bit more than what you're paying. You probably pay him right about what you're paying Virgil van Dijk when it comes to his wages as well. So I think you can get that done. I think you can honestly get that done.
And I know if Pops just happens to be out there listening, I know he doesn't like to hear about this stuff, but if you just look at that 120 and you just say, right, we just brought in 36, that's now 84, 86 or 84 or something.
Yeah.
So you're telling me we don't have 84 in the kitty, because now we have, that's only needing 84 in the kitty. So we can definitely afford that. That's not a huge outlay for us. It's not going to break us FFP wise, which is the main condition. There's that spend that we can go out and we probably still then have the room to go and do something else in the 50 mark, in the 50 range. And then you do 2 more players, Sepp for 18 and one other guy for 10. That's another nearly 30 in the door. That allows us to bring probably another player in.
Yeah.
But you could get those two, like two high quality additions, like a Bastoni and a Zubmendi, in at around 120. That would be one of the most seriously high end transfer windows. Just those two.
If we ended up getting, hypothetically, if we ended up getting Zubamendi, and we got a Bastoni in through the door, and let's say he spent 110 million or something around that for the two of the players, right? What would you rate that as? What would be your rating on the transfer, our transfer window, if we brought those two high caliber players in? 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10.
9.
Would be a 9 for you, Daryl?
Yeah.
Okay. What would it be for you, Lee?
An 8.
An 8? Okay. So I mean, and that shows there's something still. There's still something missing there for you. Okay.
Yeah.
Irishman, what would it be for you?
That'd be a 9.5. That'd be
9.
9. It'd be 9.5. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not necessarily like that. It wouldn't be that good. It's just that we've got better windows. Like when we bought Barnes, Beardsley, Aldridge, and Houghton in the same window. That was a better window. So I couldn't give
Exactly.
Stoney a 10 or something, like, you know what I mean? So they can only have an 8.
But
Yeah, I agree with Lee. I totally agree actually with an 8, because I still personally think we need a left back. I still think we need.
It's not like getting Barnes, Beardsley, Houghton, and Aldridge at the same time, is it?
No.
Yeah,
you have to leave room at the top for the top.
I understand the level of the players that you're talking about, and exceptional. I just think that the market's a lot different. I just think that you have to, like inflation, you have to kind of balance it out with the differences. There was no PSR and no FFP, and there was no like all these like different rules and regulations that you had to do, and there's no like, you know, there's just so much that gets involved in getting players. Getting players.
But you see, the thing is. But see, the thing is,
let me land my.
All right, sorry.
Then I'll give the floor to you. But what I was just going to say is that it's more so that those are two of possibly the most coveted players on the market. And Bastoni's not necessarily even on the market. So, but I mean, like, isn't really a quote unquote officially like being, you know, pushed out the door or really like, you know, they're trying to actually move him. But
I could see him stopping if we bought him, mate. Bastoni.
I just think that those two players are exceptional. If you were telling me that we were going to get one of the top center backs in the world, and we're going to get possibly one of the top DMs, quote unquote, in the world, you know, I think that has to be at least a 9, if not a 10 window. And
I was just going to say quickly that we know how it worked out. You see, for the other guys, like we now know, like we knew Barnes was class, but now we know, looking back, that they were world class.
Mm-hmm.
So we're kind of judging them. Like we haven't bought the other two guys yet, so we're kind of that they were amazing, but we know how it worked out.
Right.
So we can't, you know, we don't know how it would work out for Zuby and Bastoni yet. So, you know, it's kind of hard to compare because we know how it's sort of like,
I get what you're saying. I
was just looking at
was that window with the players that you're putting in there, would you put them all as the top player of their class?
Barnes and Beardsley were up there. Yeah,
they were up there.
Definitely. Yeah,
Okay.
Barnes and Houghton maybe not so much, Lee, but still a top player. But Barnes and Beardsley were like, they were top bracket.
Either the number 1, if not number 2 ranked.
We broke our record for Beardsley.
Right.
They were top tier players.
They were both regular in England's internationals.
Again,
yeah. Whereas when we bought
different times though.
Different times. Yeah.
But again, like we know the outcome.
The factor in the other portions of how they are able to be secured is different now. I mean, it's just it's like a different playing. That's what I'm trying to get.
Yeah, but like I said, we know how it worked. Like we've seen the movie, whereas this movie we haven't seen it yet, so we don't know how good it is. We know how good that one was when we brought it in, so it's kind of hard to judge. Like it's sort of like going from a base of 0 and starting to sort of like going from like what we thought we were going to get this summer. If it finished with us getting Zubamendi and Bastoni, just in those terms, it would be right up there. But I still think to make it like a 10 would need that, like, oh wow, didn't realize. I mean, I thought, yeah, I knew we'd locked it down with these two guys, but then we went out and got X player that's a real, a kind of a fancy player, the kind of player the fans like, goal scorer, something like that.
Mhm.
That would make it a really, really good one. But yeah, in squad building terms, the two of them, we've said it all along. We want a DM and we want a defender. So if we got them two of the best in the world, yeah, you couldn't really, you couldn't fault them. I don't think.
Yeah. I'm looking at some of the comments from the chat. I'm going to bring in some of the questions and comments from the chat here. Let me finish this one little comment I was going to put here.
I think the
But
sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think the fan base would be massively happy if that's what our window was. I don't think there'd be many disappointed people. I
don't see, if you're disappointed in that, if we get that as our window and you're
just
still disappointed, you just got a
10 out of 10 doesn't mean that I wouldn't be absolutely ecstatic, like, and overjoyed.
Yeah, I think for the money that we would have spent, I mean, like, we're talking about an era where there's like 100 million pound players, for players that aren't 100 million pound players going left and right, or not left and right, but being made, I should say, And I mean, like, this era is just a different era of things. I understand inflation gets involved in the likes, and people can push back that way, but it's a lot of money. It's still a lot of money. There was a question Robert put in there and says, so if we get Bastoni as a center back, that means Kwanzaa sits on the bench. He's good, but I want to see Kwanzaa get his chance. I think and I answered in the chat, but I will just verbalize it.
Kwanzaa won't play if we buy a new centre back. He will. He just won't play all the time. And
he won't start. He wouldn't start. If we bought a Bastoni level player, he wouldn't start. Most likely.
But
you don't play. You don't spend 70, 80 million or 60, 70, 80 million, whatever, on a center back and then have him sit the bench. Not at this club. Right.
Virgil's aging now, so he'll be rested more, Virgil. So I don't think it wouldn't hinder Giroud to have another centre back come in. It just mean that there was 4 rather than 3.
Yeah. There's a thing about it with what the sentiment in the chat is. Let me get up some other questions that were kind of about that. Because I know Rose Majority said about question maybe now with PSR buyout and release clauses are the issue, because all up front plus all the payments you have already committed to from previous buys could make things very tight, leaving no leeway. But once again, the point that Brian brought up about Chelsea and Conor Gallagher, I mean, that's starting to show its evil head there. There was another comment here too. I'll bring up Bonker's comment in a second. But yeah, no, I agree that there's a lot of different angles and takes. I just don't think that. I think that one thing why I asked the question about Zubimendi and about is it Zubimendi or bust is because Zubimendi, that position, I think, is the only position where you could honestly say, yes, bringing in a player, you could have an outright say at starting at that role. Endo did a great job last year. I'm not saying that Endo isn't serviceable. I'm just saying that now that the system asks for different skill sets a little bit more so, maybe Endo isn't exactly the first choice if you had a Zubimendi or you had a player of Zubimendi's level to be there. But if you go through the other positions on this team, pretty much they are, I would say, all first team caliber players. Am I alone in that thinking, or Irishman, do you want to start off with that one?
Sorry, I'm on the phone.
Oh, okay. Daryl, do you want to start with that one?
Yeah, I agree that they're all definitely level-minded, same caliber players we got in that squad. I just think if we obviously, say if we bought a Bastoni, I don't think it will derail Constance coming in the side. I think personally, in my opinion, I think this is Virgil's last season at Liverpool, and that's why they're looking at someone like Bastoni. That's my
Okay.
opinion.
Okay. How about for you, Lee?
Well, what was the actual
What's the
question?
basic? Well, because the basic question is like, do you believe that we have, other than the 6, which is why the Zubimendi deal I think could be a great deal for us. And this isn't a knock against Endo. Endo's my guy, that. But I mean, for what we're trying to get, whereas and we're going to play out the back, we're going to have options. That 6 has to be able to be quick and be assertive with his progressive carries, or if not, his passing. We want a little bit more astute player on the ball like that. Other than the 6, pretty much all the roles, all the positions, all the positions that are optioned out there are covered by players that certainly are first team level players. Like as in they're all very high, if not world class players as options. So, it's kind of like, I know, for instance, I would love to see Bastoni come to the team. It might be because of the same of what Daryl is suggesting could be, the eventual like future planning, I guess you could call it, of the team by getting a Bastoni in for a possible exit by Virgil. Or if it's not, Virgil stays and it's just, hey, let's just
Ibu goes.
Yeah, maybe Ibu goes.
Or
as Robert suggested, maybe Gomez goes. It's one of those
the question is if Kwanzaa's development is stopped by Lacomin. Was that the question? Sorry.
No, the question was simply the initial question was, do you believe that we have a very equitable first team selections in other roles other than the 6, which is the question mark that everyone wants to settle? Are the levels sufficient at the other positions on the pitch? That's the basic question.
Yeah, just about like.
Right. I mean, it'd be a different story, like in the sense of I get people might want a better selection or better choice than the 6 role that we have. That's what I'm trying to get at.
I think,
but
we're
other
pretty
than that,
stacked.
I think all the other positions are good. Go ahead.
Pretty stacked, yeah. Pretty stacked. I mean, we're not glaring obvious, but you can always upgrade other than maybe 1 or 2 very lucky teams, 1 or 2 very special players. You can always upgrade. You can always look somewhere. But right now, I don't see us kind of being petrified going into a game with a particular player. But I think we all know, like, we've lost Matip, and we don't really trust Ibu that much anymore. Darvis, I think he's totally right. I think what he was saying, like, even if someone did come in, that wouldn't stunt Kwanzaa at all. That would just mean that, in a year's time, because I think it is, Virgil might just walk away, do his own thing. So you've already got, then next year, time moves very quick. You've got Kwanzaa back in the first team, having had a year in and out, growing up a bit more, getting into the team a bit more time off, in and out of the limelight. And then you've got a quality lad who's had a year alongside him to grow in. I think that'd be perfect, because another year of Ibu being injured every second, third, fourth game for a game, 2 games, I think that would probably be the end for him. So then you'd be looking at another guy. So, I think a quality centre half coming in now would in no way really impede anybody. It would just make us look way stronger. And people be like, wow, well, then now they've got him, and Kwanzaa isn't even their first choice. He's he's chomping at the bit again. But then that would up the level. But
when we bought Ibu, I saw him as being Virgil's natural successor, that Virgil would tutor him in the ways of centre-back excellence in his first couple of seasons, and then Ibu would be immense after that. But the injuries have put the mockers on it. But I saw Ibu as being, our senior centre-half by now. But like, he isn't because of the injuries. So it's a ponderable one, isn't it? Like, there's lots to think about. It's centre half. Yes, we could survive the season, but I don't think we'd excel. We wouldn't
No.
challenge necessarily without a new centre half. I don't think, especially if Virgil gets knocks or anything like, or gets a bad knock, mate, we're screwed then.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that'd be music. That would be music to Lee's ears if Eby was to go.
Well, I was his biggest fan up until about 6 months ago when he just wouldn't stop getting injured last season. I finally had enough with Ibu last season and snapped. My patience snapped. And
Yeah, I
Sargent-
agree though, mate. I don't think he's. I don't think he's like amazing. I just think we could definitely upgrade on him.
He would be if he could stay fit, mate. He would be amazing if he could stay fit. If he was fit,
I think that a fit Ibu is possibly one of the best, in my opinion. I think a fit Ibu is one of the best center backs in the league.
Imagine
But
him playing
unfortunately,
in
that availability,
the game.
takes away
Played
from
the
him.
entire season and didn't miss a game. Like
Yeah.
we used to get in the old days with certain players where he played every league game.
It's amazing when you look back when you only had 2 subs, how much players would, be able to do that.
Mhm.
Now,
Mhm.
like in like one sub, like there was even games not that long ago, 1 sub, and players would have to play. They'd have no choice. They really like so. There is pure like it's not just coincidence. Like the fact that they know like they can go off with the slightest bit of a knock, they put their hand up. So they might not be as if you're looking at the manager and the manager goes, well, if you come off, we're down to 9 men. Then would they be staying on? I know I'm not having to go at any particular player, but I think there's definitely a correlation there. Again, Ibu on his day, top 4 in the league, probably in his style of play, because it's a silk and steel kind of thing. Van Dijk being the silk and Ibu being the steel. He's a real physical player and dominates people.
As Virgil does in a row, as many big games as Virgil does in a row, and being constantly available.
You can see the thinking. You can see the thinking behind the partnership. Ibu on the right, Virgil on the left. Both of them absolutely enormous. Ibu, one of the few people on the planet who actually makes Virgil look normal sized.
Both of them incredibly fast as well.
Yeah, they should be unbeatable.
Game well, if he reads the game well to get his foot in as well, you know what I mean?
He attacks the game. He's a front foot defender. He goes to things. He goes towards danger.
I'm sorry, boys. I've got to cut in. It's bad, really bad news.
What?
Zuba Mendes rejected Liverpool. Breaking news.
Sources? Where's that?
It's breaking. From? It's all over. It's all over. I've just switched over. It's all over YouTube and everything.
Maybe he's going to Barca when Barca recover or something.
Deal collapses. Exclusive. That's what it says.
We'll see. When was the last time he played center back? Trying to look that up. I don't. Red for Life. I do not see when was the last time Joe Gomez played. That's a good question. I don't know. I don't remember when the last time Joe Gomez played center back. To be honest with you.
Last time I remember for sure was Villa at Anfield last season when we beat Villa at Anfield and Szoboszlai scored that nice one with his left foot. Joe played centre back.
Yeah, he's been primarily he's just been seen as a right back, if that. Now that with Bradley there, I haven't seen him there. But yeah, I don't think he's played. Did he play center back for us at all during Europa? Maybe. I don't think so.
Yeah, as a sub, I think. Something. It was on and off or moving them rounds or whatever, yeah, in them early games.
Mm-hmm. So, let's see. I don't see any of the updates. I know that you're saying that that's a breaking news, but I'm looking for Zubimendi updates too. As to for like a legitimate source.
Yeah, it's literally going to come out in the next 5 minutes by Joyce and everybody. It's decided to stay at Sociedad. It's over. It's breaking.
Okay, let's
On the
just
Anfield,
when,
the
when it
Anfield
gets there,
sector.
when it gets there. Yeah, we'll get it. And when it gets there,
Well,
we'll get there.
at least we know.
I don't.
At least
Yeah,
we know we can go after someone else.
I
Hopefully,
don't trust Twitter or until Paul Joyce or like David Ornstein or something like that say it. Then I'm sure that if it is, it is. That's what it is. Then I think that if anything, then we should we. I think if anything, then I'm sure there's going to be a lot of kickback from the rivals trying to talk about how another player turning down Liverpool. I'm sure.
Sorry,
Yeah, no problem.
that should be the end of the interruptions.
They'll go about taking on the trying to put us into the banter category with the if Zubimendi is going to choose to stay. But yeah, well, I guess like I'm interested to see how it all works out or what the update is going to be. There is. Oh, we lost Daryl.
the plot thickens. The plot thickens.
Mm-hmm.
Well, look, if this is certain now, which it appears like it might well be, we can move on somewhere else and set our sights somewhere else, hopefully, or maybe not. But as
Yeah.
long as they come out and tell us, I'd like them to come out and say, "No, we're not buying anyone after this." You know what I mean, and not drag it on like where people are thinking we're going to buy someone. I like them to be frank about
Yeah,
it. Like,
that's what I guess. If anything, I was preparing myself. I'd already been prepared with the idea of that he wasn't going to be available. If he wasn't going to be available, because I mean, like, I know that he was probably getting a lot of pressure from he's getting a lot of pressure from the team. I'm sure he's getting pressure from those in the Basque region and the whole nine to stay. And I know it's very important that they do their best to hold on to their players. It's very.
I'm just glad to know one way or the other. If you know what I mean, I would want this purgatory to end. Like, you know what I mean, this purgatorial wilderness we've been wandering. Yes or no. But yeah, if that's it, then yeah, let's look somewhere else.
Yeah, that's how I see it. If that's the case, okay, fine. That is the case. That is okay. That's why I said to myself, I said that I'm not exactly. It's not Zubamendi or bust for me, and that's what I wanted to make sure.
No, it's never any one player or bust. It can never be one player or bust.
Yeah.
Yeah, not seen. I've seen a few janky accounts. Sorry, but the original Relevio guy is one of the guys posting it.
I really don't have many alternatives in my head. Like Andre Trindadi's videos were good last summer when we were meant to be getting him, and then January or something like when we were linked again. His videos were good anyway of him doing his stuff through Malaysia.
I told you this transfer was weird. I told you it was weird. I mean, he's rejected. I mean, like that's what I said a week ago. I said, if he wants to be a Matt Letizia, that just stays at his club, a totty, that just can't think of leaving, just do that, that's fine, but just fucking kind of come out and say it, just be that guy. Those I admire those guys, and a lot of those Basque guys are like that. They don't even want to play for Spain. Some of them, it means one league title with them would mean more than winning, 5 with Real Madrid or a Bayern or an Arsenal or something like that. So if he was going to be that kind of guy, then that's cool. But we needed to know that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Look, I haven't seen an Ornstein, Joycey, Romano type. I just seen Romano tweeting about
that's the thing about it. I'm like
being into your man. He's still tweeting about Mamrashvili. The last thing he tweeted about Liverpool, it was half an hour about saying we're in discussions for Mamrashvili, and he's still interested in the move and the loan thing. So nothing from one of the big names yet, but yeah, it does seem a little bit worrying.
Yeah.
I just looked on the Echo website, like the Pearl Echo, the city paper, and it said Richard Hughes believes Zubamendi's given him his word, but I think he just means he's given him his word he will actually make his mind up, rather than he's giving him his word he's going to sign.
Well, at least he's done us this. Yeah, like I said, if you're not going to leave, just fucking just tell everybody you want to stay, and we can move on.
Really, it was according to the Echo, it's still possibly on. Like, it's saying he's got 2 things to think over. So.
Oh well.
Yeah,
we still live in hope.
It is a lot of. Yeah, I don't think that the part and point is that I didn't want, like, why I was getting this, because, like, look, I'll just be straight up honest. I kind of get, like, kind of disappointed that I am disappointed to see that we don't get the player. Obviously, the player would have been a benefit. It would have helped us out. I'm not going to go as far as to say, oh, he's a terrible player, or turn my, my nose up and say, try to pretend like he wouldn't have been a welcome addition. But he's not. If he's not going to be a part of the club, or if he wasn't all in, or if he has a change of mind, then I wouldn't want that player being a part of the club anyway. Like, his whole heart and mind should be with the club, period. If there was any doubts or any distractions that were going to make him want to, not be able to give his all, then, hey, more power to you. Good luck at Real Sociedad, and that's that. But I also didn't want us to get, as a team, to get so, dialed in that if now Zubamendi, if we don't have Zubamendi, our year is going to be, a dumpster fire or something. Like if we don't get Zubamendi, we're not going to be able to compete or something like that. That's where I didn't want to get us to be at the point of. I don't think that exists. I don't think that is the case either right now. That's what I'm looking at.
What do you think? Endo was sitting there thinking, now maybe I have a role to play.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm thinking, like, if anything, maybe he's being said, hey, you've got to step up and be that guy. You've got to step up and be that guy, and you can't, as in, you have, I don't know, whatever it has to be, but your level might have to raise a little bit. I don't want him playing out of, I don't expect him to play out of his, completely out of his, skill set completely. But yeah, it's either that, or you know what? Hey, can't we just go back to what we were just speaking on earlier, and go back to what I've been saying from pretty much the very beginning, but for a long time now? Can't we just start to focus in on maybe Gravenberch having the opportunity to make a real play at being a first teamer?
Yeah,
yeah, or maybe this makes the Bajcetic deal less likely to happen, and give Bajcetic his opportunity to really make it happen.
Buying him a number 6, we do need a backup to Endo who can win the ball. I mean, Mac can win the ball, but he's slower. And just a decent different midfielder. It's not his thing, that position. It really isn't. Not on his own, anyway. But, yeah, I just don't see why we'd let Bajcetic go. Then, okay, he was out all season, and we've got to nurse him back dead slowly and all that one, and he needs to play. But play here. Don't go anywhere else and play. We need you, mate.
Yeah, I could see Gravenberch playing with Zubamendi. That's the thing, you see. I can see Gravenberch being the more proactive guy in that. That's what I think his skill set is. I think we go for someone else. I think we will.
Okay.
I think we will, but
okay.
I don't know. Be interesting now because it's not a good look.
Yeah. It's not a good look.
No, because they'll know it's our number. But a lot of people be happy. Oh no, I'm only Liverpool's second choice. Don't worry, it's not going to hurt my feelings if they come in for me.
Yeah.
So I can see us not. I don't know, but maybe it is a January thing then. Maybe it is a January thing. I'm really not sure because everybody out there will tell you, oh, the second choice guy is this or that. I'm not sure anybody really knows. They're just lining up people. So yeah, this will be interesting now. If it is true, what do we do?
What name?
How do we
What
play
name
it?
going to be? Yeah, by this time tomorrow, we'll have heard about 25 different names.
Oh yeah, these are the worst ones. This is the worst kind of stuff. Yeah, the transfer that everybody was agreed on, so everybody was just talking about it. Now it falls through. So now tomorrow, yeah, you'll have 50
How
different
many
people saying
DMs
50
were we
different
linked
names.
with before we got Endo last season? Kind
All of them.
Kone,
Decore at Palace.
Ducore, yeah, at Palace. There was more. There was more. Mate. I mean,
There are other
Thuram.
Oh,
names.
all of them. Every single one of them. There was every single one of them. Oh, we want him. Yeah, but I don't know. It'll be really interesting to see do they stick or twist now. If this falls through, do you stick or and is it the whole we want our number one target or nothing else kind of thing?
Yeah,
Now we'll wait
right. Because I
because
mean,
I
like
think
when we didn't get Tuchemani, right? We didn't go and buy someone else, did we? Like to that level. I'm trying to think of. We didn't buy someone that was like comparable, did we? I don't think we did.
Was that 2 summers ago? Was it? Maybe.
yeah, it's like you
But
say,
that's my
different
point. We
transfer
were
windows.
we were
You know,
going in for that was a big
When we
name
got
yeah.
Arthur,
player.
wasn't it? Arthur Mello. That's when he come in. Oh
Yeah.
no, not it, Arthur Mello.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I don't
no,
know
but
why
it's like
the
you're saying,
Mellows.
Argon, it's different transfer windows with different needs, different
Yeah,
times. You know, it's like right now because we kind of did put the whole yeah Endo can leave thing and Bajcetic can go on loan. Like, what
right.
does this do to that now? You know,
Right.
does that change all of
That's the
that?
question. That's the bigger question. Yeah.
Because you were telling them you were happy to let him go. You were
Right.
telling, I mean, Bajcetic, you need to go on loan. You're telling Endo, we're happy to sell you.
Right.
So, do you put the brakes on that now? And what does that say to Endo? Because you're asking a lot from him to be very professional, to go, yeah, no hard feelings. Again, we don't know. I haven't seen anything from anyone coming in. I know Daryl, I know he's good, but Daryl does
And
go very
I get
quick.
it. There are a lot of posts on
Yeah.
there.
Okay,
Right.
sorry, no,
There
Fabrizio
are posts on
Romano.
there.
Yeah, Fabrizio Romano has just confirmed it 14 seconds ago. Zubimendi has rejected Liverpool
Okay.
with formal communication to club tonight. Real Sociedad to efforts to keep Zubi were crucial to make it happen. He's staying with new deal also really soon. Yeah, Liverpool. He has rejected
It's gonna
Liverpool, and
cost you time in the
that's from
future.
Romano. That's from the man
Mhm.
himself.
Mhm.
I think we can
So
forget
yeah,
about it for the rest of
that's
our life.
done. We know that's done now, so we can move on. So we can delete all the
Yeah, I'm happy with
thumbnails and
that. At least we
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
At
Paul
least we know
Joyce.
it's
Paul Joyce
progress.
just
Progress.
put in a quick.
Disappointing,
Just
but
put in a quick
progress.
post too. 38 seconds ago.
yeah, that's it
Liverpool
then.
target Jermaine at 8. It's not even that much. He just said
Yeah.
Liverpool target
Deal over.
Zumendi to remain at Real Sociedad. That's it.
Deal off.
Deal
Yes.
is off. So again,
We
I
go
just don't.
again.
I'm not as I saw that bonkers. I saw that that he said he's gutted.
Yeah, we go
Reels and
again.
Jared went on to say he's not angry, disappointed that Zumendi rejected us. I'm disappointed he made us wait 5 days to make the decision, wasting precious time in the window. I
It
agree with
is a
too.
bit of
I
an
understand
issue.
it was a very difficult deal to make. So obviously, and once Real Sociedad started putting even more pressure on him to stay, then that made it even more complex to get the deal completed.
No, I'm with Highlight there. I don't think there's anybody to be angry with about this. There's nobody. I'm not angry with the player or the club. This shit just happens sometimes.
Yeah.
Do you know what's funniest about it is
I don't want anybody throwing shit at anybody here.
Yeah, when the news broke that we were in for him, a lot of non-Liverpool channels made Zubimendi videos saying how brilliant Liverpool are buying him. That Goldbridge made one instantly saying we bought him, saying this is what I like about Liverpool. They want someone, and then the deal's done the next minute. Here we are, 5 or 6 days later, and he's turned us down. I think Goldbridge probably made that video to try and tempt fate more than anything. But
Quasi Bull coming in with an exclusive. I don't know who
Yeah.
your source is, Quasi, but you know
Barbershop talk. All that
yeah, that
barbershop
might be
talk,
just barbershop talk. Usually, once you hear Fabrizio and Paul Choice and those kinds of names saying it is one way or the other, you kind of go with it. Yeah, I just see a lot of people are actually a lot of people are reacting very very funny on Twitter. It's all good. It's all good. I think Brazzi Brazzi might. I don't know if Brazzi's a red fan or not. He might be. I'm not sure. But
Well, at
even if
least
he
we're
is,
not
there isn't.
buying
Big
Gillette.
up, big
At
up to
least we're not
Brazzi.
buying Gillette because United have already bought them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tyler Samuels,
Where
Francis Square, Tuchamani, Bellingham, Casado, Lavia, nothing new under the sun. You know, though all the circumstances were somewhat different with those cases, but like
Mason Nana off Everton, who bloody Emery bought to replace Costa. Onana was good at Everton last season.
yeah.
they're not sourcing him, quasi. They're quoting him and they're paying him his due. They're all confirming it, but they're
Never
also
give up. There you go.
but what they're
Never give
pointing
up.
out
Yeah.
is that he was the first to say it. What they're saying is it's a fact, but they're just giving him his due by saying he was the first to put it out.
Yeah.
They're not as a source. It is they're all coming out and saying it. They're just giving him his due by basically quoting him in the tweet because he was the guy all over this deal. So
He said he wanted to leave. Something is not right about this. Nolati saying he said he wanted to leave. Something is not right about this. Well, yeah. Jimmy says, hey,
Nilante, we told you
no.
earlier on, drama transfer. It was a drama transfer from minute one.
Yeah.
From minute one, it was Romeo and Juliet. Will he stay? Will he go? You know, he's hard as you know. It was like, oh no, here we go with this nonsense. From
I'm
day
trying to
one, it
get
was a
across
drama
that.
transfer.
I'm trying to get across that. Hey, would he been an addition? Absolutely. I'm not going to differ from saying that his
Yeah, I hear what you're
talent
saying.
and
I get what you're saying.
his talent would have been appreciated to be an addition to this team. But does his declining the offer or declining the move make me say that I'm still not confident in this team or confident that we can still
No.
get something out of this team?
We need someone in the role.
I will stand pat and say that I still very interested to see now what we do with the direction of our club, but also I'm still interested to see what kind of production we get from that role, from Gravenberch, from Pachetic, if he ends up staying with us, from the players that are going to now be from Endo, who still is a part of this club. I don't think it's the end of the world, as Refer Life says. It's not the end of the world. If anything, the worst part about this is that we're going to have to deal with the BS from rivals trying to poke the bear by saying, "Oh, you got rejected," or "Oh, this and that." That's the part I think that is probably weighing in most of our heads as being the part that we are not looking forward to, because that's what the narrative will be. Despite the fact that he's rejected Bayern Munich, he's rejected Arsenal, he's rejected all the fact that he even considered us for as long as he did says something.
I don't mind that.
Says the difference between our club and their club in my mind. That's how I'm looking at it.
No, but you can ignore that stuff. You see, that's it. You can ignore that stuff. I don't care about that shit. I mean, I'm not going to have a go with fans who are pissed off that we're not getting the guy.
Mm-hmm.
We all know we have good players. No, it's not like there's people who want nobody and people who don't want people, or people who only want new players. We all want new players to come in to improve the team, but those people aren't doing that because they think everyone's shit. That's a bit of a kind of the black and white stuff that I don't get. Like, people can want new players, but that doesn't mean that they think the other players are shit. Whereas some people seem to think that just because someone wants a new player, that means that they think the current players are shit. I've never existed in that world. I don't understand that way of thinking. You can want better players to come into your team. It's not like, oh, I'd love to buy that new thing. Oh, I didn't realize you hated your other thing. It's like, no, I don't hate them. Wait, what?
Yeah,
What are you
yeah,
on
yeah,
about?
yeah. But
Where's
that's
that?
that.
No,
Unfortunately,
that's not right.
those are kind
No,
of
I know,
those.
but that's what I
Yeah,
hear a lot. Exactly. It's like, well, what do
that's
you
what
mean?
the narratives are out there.
Well, that's what I'm saying about Zuby.
That's
The
what's just
people that
unfortunate.
wanted Zuby to come in, it's not that they didn't rate Gravenberch, they didn't rate Endo, they didn't rate McAllister. They wanted these guys to come in to improve our club and improve the players that are already here.
I think that what it's, and then I know Daryl's trying to stir the pot, but I mean, like, I think that again, why I'm stressing the fact that Zubamendi was going to be a compliment to this team, absolutely. But let's not get it twisted. That's the sixth role, the number 6 players that play the number 6 in the current market. There's not an abundance of players that I'm like, we've got to go out for this player. We've got to get this player. We've got to get this player. Okay.
Yeah.
And I
And
wasn't
exactly
on,
what the club said.
I openly was not on the Zuma. I openly wasn't like, we got to get this player, Zubamendi, got to get this player before the Euros, especially. He wasn't on my radar like that. Okay. So that I'm saying, did I start to get excited about the from what I was hearing from scouting and from what other people were saying and the buildup? Absolutely. And I would have loved to see the addition to our club. But what I'm trying to get at, and I'll allow for you guys to chime in too. What I'm trying to get at is I personally thought that we have some adequate players on this team. I know people are saying like, oh, it's plan B or plan C. Plan B or plan C could be Gravenberch. Plan B could be Bushetic. You know, if plan A was Zubamendi, you know, that's what I'm trying to get across. And there's no, but that I don't want people to think that just because plan B isn't another name out there on the market that we're in trouble or that's saying something about the organization. I don't think that's the case. I think that we have and good players. That's what I'm trying.
Yeah, no, what you're saying is if we didn't get our top target, we were going to be fine. We're cool.
Yeah.
We've got good players. That's what everybody thinks.
Yeah.
I think we're all in that boat. You know,
no, we're not all in that boat. Oh, well, maybe on the panel. Because I'm looking at the chat.
I think 90% of the 90% of the fans, I think, know that we have good players. But I think the club came out and said we're looking for a player in that position. So when the club comes out and says,
I'd say 90% of us
the fans
in the chat too. Yeah, I'd say that's a good.
I'd give us to Jack, but we will move. We will put in a player there. We want one. The club thinks we need one. We went all out to get this guy.
Like the reason why I'm saying this real quick, Brian, is because of Daryl's comment about saying he says something on the lines of. I was just responding to Daryl's comment. It says Paul Joyce has said Liverpool will now not look for a number 6, and he's saying let that sink in.
No, but like he doesn't mean for eternity. You know, he just means, you know, these are basically what I'm saying is this looks like to me now. It'll be January. You know, so like we've looked, and it's like we've all said constantly. It's like you've got like, I know this incredible collection of things. You know, it's like you've got 10 of the best in the world. Like, how do you improve your collection? Like, what do you do? Go out and buy one of the kind of random normal ones? You know, like we're at that level now where there's only kind of 2 or 3 things out there that will improve our squad, which is difficult, I know. But also, you don't want, let's bring in that guy. Let's bring him in. He's a name. And like, that's what people are talking about. They want us to do it. And then they laugh about the fact that we brought in Arthur Mello and they'll slag the club off for bringing in Arthur Mello. I've heard people say twice in the last week, a state that we bought Mello. Twice, different people who should know better state that we bought Arthur Mello. And look at what we'll do. We'll do what we did before and we'll buy another Mello. What a transfer that was. We never bought Arthur Mello. We loaned the guy. Never bought him because we knew he wasn't good enough. That's why we didn't buy him. We're like, we're not buying the dude. We'll loan him. You know, that's just how it goes sometimes when, you know, your stuff is high end. How do you improve it? What do you do? Go out and buy a Coop Miners just for the sake of it? Just to keep people happy? Do you go out and buy an Alan Varela just because he's a DM? Is he actually going to improve the team?
That's where I'm getting at. That's basically the center of what I'm trying to say is that like, does the the market for the 6 role is not that deep. That's what I'm trying to get across. It's not.
But I think we could agree that if we got to,
I
he
get
would have
people.
improved the team, right?
Say
But
again?
just quickly, we can all agree that if we had got to, he would have improved the team.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not trying to like
exactly.
this. Yeah, I'm saying that Zubimendi would have been a valuable addition to the team. Absolutely.
But
But what I'm trying
dudes,
to say is that like it's not that we have a hole in the number 6 role. It's not like our team is struggling to figure out how to get to have a comparable number 6. Like. I'm not saying Endo is the answer over Zubimendi in talent, but what I am saying is that Endo has done a duty for our club. I'm also saying that we have some options that are going to be looked at as being that player at that role. People seem to forget that. I think Brian's been a big fan of Bajcetic. I believe Lee is a fan of Bajcetic as well. I've been very optimistic in wanting to see Bajcetic finally healthy to play the 6 role for us. Or in a pivot role at some point for us. I've been somewhat one of the few people out there that initially was saying I want to see Gravenberch in this role. And looks like we're going to have the opportunity to possibly see that. Because with Klopp, Gravenberch was played in that advanced 8 role. He wasn't ever looked at as being a 6, So
Right.
what I'm trying to get, I'll let you go. Like what I'm trying to get at is that I still think we have options. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, someone like Paul Joyce said, we've decided not to pursue a number 6 after the collapse of the Zubimendi deal. If that's true, then how on earth could we let Stefan Bajcetic leave on loan if we're not going to pursue a 6? Is my question. Like, if he goes on loan and we're left with just Endo, only Endo, and the prospect of maybe playing Joe Gomez as the DM or something, if he was injured, you know what I mean? It's like, come on.
It changes. Like as soon as you were talking about a double pivot, everything changes for Gravenberch. If you're talking about playing a 4-3-3 and needing an out and out number 6 to play on their own, he has no chance. So as soon as it changed to the double pivot, it's like then my thinking again on Gravenberch, because I thought Gravenberch might leave because of the new manager coming in, not having a role for him. But it would all depend on that. But you can see it now, and it would only because there wouldn't be a role. Never about the quality of the player. But now you can see it. It's like, like in a double pivot, he's made to be that extra player. He can fill all of those roles. You can then double up. Like him and Bajcetic, I mean, what's wrong with that? It's not going to win you the league. Of course it won't.
Bajcetic can play as well, like Khan, he can tackle and he can play.
It'll give us what we need. I mean, even Endo and Bajcetic. But if they wanted, like, I was shocked to know that they were prepared to sell and loan both. I mean, that's such a huge hole to leave. Enormous.
I think that the only reason why they would possibly do that was because they believed that Zubimendi was going to be in the deal. Was going to be in the house. Zubimendi was already a part of the club, or it's the same things that we're talking about, with this Bastoni thing in essence.
Maybe
Bastoni comes and most likely DVD's out the door.
So. Yeah, for Bajcetic, maybe it's just provenance for Bajcetic, some sort of like cosmic force, and it will happen for him this season now because there'll be nobody bloody else to pick from. We'll need to play him. We'll need to use him. So maybe this is like fate for Bajcetic. Who knows?
Yeah.
Shit just got real. That's all I know.
Yeah, it just got real. It just definitely got real. So, hey, it's. I don't want us to get. I don't want us to get down. I'm not down. I'm not down in the dumps that this deal didn't happen. I would have been happy. It's kind of like it would have been it was a surprise to hear that we were in this deal, that this was the player we're going to be getting going for. It was a pleasant surprise, I was happy if we were going to make this happen. I'm not.
We always go for the best looking ones, don't we? We always have to go for the best looking ones.
I was never more than cautiously optimistic that we were going to get him, and it's wise to be that way. And because we had this dance last summer with Caicedo, where I've seen it before innumerable times. So I was never more than cautiously optimistic that he was going to.
The Alonso link, though, that just pushed it over the edge.
That made it more storybook.
That just gave it the extra bit of romance and all of that,
Exactly, especially when you start even hearing Alonso giving him, advice. Apparently.
Question. If Alonso got the job instead of Slot, does he join?
No.
I think he probably does, doesn't he?
I don't think so, because you know why? There was a point in the chat. I make sure I give the credit to who said it too. But Arteta's Basque. He's a Basque born.
Yeah, but he's not Alonso. No, but Alonso is his hero. I mean, you're talking about heroes. People like Alonso is the poster.
Make sure I give the credit to who said that.
Someone did it.
Hyler says, Mikel Arteta is from Basque as well. Basque region.
But he wasn't on.
And he tried to sign him
Arteta on his wall.
Yeah, and he tried to sign 93 times and failed all 3 times. So.
That's what I mean. Once Alonso walks into the room, bats his eyelashes, that's what he's waiting for. Maybe he goes to Real Madrid with Alonso. Maybe that's what it takes. But we got a bit romantic
about it. I forgot about him already. Zubi what? I forgot about him already.
That's how we work. That's how we work as football fans. We've moved on already. Next.
Yeah. To say like Matt from Coppish, we move, right?
Yeah. Tomorrow
we move.
Tomorrow our show is going to be who's going to be the next 6. Zubi who?
Zubi who? Yeah. I'm not going to say what I was going to say, actually.
Papers are going to love it. It's lots of copy, all the FSG people now are going to be, they'll have fired up the thumbnails and they've fired up the titles and they'll have them ready to go and the videos will be ready to go. And it's great look for those people. I just think it was us having, the right targets, and sometimes you end up with egg on your face, and we've ended up with egg on our face. But paella, maybe. But look, we fucking move on, like you said. There's more than one guy out there, and
exactly. Pathetic, Grav, when hopefully you see this episode one day, or you're watching it now. And you understand that we have your back. We believe in you. So don't think that it was a slight at all. It's more of we believe in you, and we're looking for good things from you. And remember that when you come on the show to give us the interview. Just remember that. Remember who had your back. Yeah. We'll see, man. I don't think it's that bad. I don't know if Marion is back with us, but I have a couple of things I wanted to bring up too, as well, before we bounce up out of here, because we got to make this a show that ends at the 2-hour mark.
It's the rumor mill tomorrow, isn't it?
Maybe give you a little bit of a.
I'm getting ready for a deluge of names tomorrow.
There'll be names thrown out there, but there also will, I think more so than not, there'll be a lot of banter texts and or memes and stuff, about like Zubimendi and have the Liverpool, crest there, and they'll be all negative and everything else. I'm with Bernie with she says she always thinks out of something negative comes something positive. So I'm hoping that the positive out of this is that we see an emergence from Gravenberch having this opportunity to make the most of it, or Curtis to make the most of this opportunity, or a Pathetic to make the most of this opportunity. I mean, those are 3 names.
The player closest to him, I think the player closest to him would be Stefan, right? I mean, the more just he doesn't want to doesn't want to get forward. The other boys want to break, go forward. So I think, and then maybe Endo, but Endo different. But I think this the closest one, and he was someone yet that we talked about needing to go on loan or has had a year off. How fit can he be? Can we trust him? Is he good enough? A lot of pressure, asking a lot. You're bringing up that boy now. I know. I was joking about that yesterday when he scored. I was like, cancel that Subi deal. We've already got someone here, but it would be a huge call to put Stefan in and say, this is yours if you want it.
No, it would be. It would be.
I think it's going to be
don't
this
think-
could be another opportunistic one, like because the only way to do the first choice or nothing thing is to, if you don't get the first choice, do a loan or buy an Endo, right? And an Endo might be 30 or 31.
Stopgap type thing.
Yeah, like you don't go and try and say buy the B choice, the 40 million guy. You wait for the next guy till the next year.
That's
something
where I'm
like
at.
that.
I'm at there. I'm right there
Yeah.
with you. I don't the market for sixes isn't so abundant that, I mean, because so
Yeah.
often we think of like, because this guy, was the I wouldn't call him subordinate, but was the backup to Rodri, people automatically say, oh, this is our opportunity to get another Rodri or a Rodri level player. And there aren't that many, if any, Rodris out there, really. So the level from Rodri to maybe even Supermendi, there is a significant difference in level when it comes to those players out there that are on the market that you would say are your plan B or your plan C type players.
I
And
definitely don't think we have a C. I definitely
C.
don't think we have a C. I think it's like, because they did speak before, and this is something as well that doesn't get talked about.
Well, there is a C, but we didn't get him, did we?
Well-
We turned down the C.
Well, so yes, I said, well, being opportunistic in the market, being alive to deals that might be able to be done. That's the other part of it. It's okay. You haven't been scouting X and Y Z player, but because
Right.
you're opportunistic and you're aware of what's going on in the market, you just become aware of players A that's couldn't be bought.
Right.
Okay, he wasn't on a list, but he wasn't on our list. But we all know he's quality. We didn't know he was available. Be opportunistic. Go and get him. That's
Right.
something else they're doing. They've spoken about doing that. That's what the
Right.
Gordon thing was.
Right.
This was a guy who might be bought.
Yeah, a
An
player that
opportunity-
wasn't
and be-
necessarily that you weren't expecting to be
Yeah.
available,
To be
but
nimble.
the opportunities
Be
out there.
nimble in the market.
So involve,
Yeah, be
involve
nimble.
yourself.
Be able to move quickly.
I think
be able
Bastoni
to
is that
move
kind of
quickly.
player. Bastoni, no one
Diaz.
thought Bastoni was going to be available, but now all of a sudden, if he is, then yeah, get yourself involved in that kind of deal. That's the kind of deals I don't mind being a part of.
But the
True
Diaz
that
one,
we're not going to
we
pursue a
moved on
centre.
that
I
real
think we
quick.
switch our focus to a centre back quickly, get that deal done, and then just start the season with what we've got.
I don't. Yeah.
think
I know that
it-
there's a
Thrown
shout
in,
for.
teething problems, but he'd get it eventually. You know what I mean? Because wouldn't be teething problems if we threw him straight in and said, "This is you," every week now. But like he'd get it after a bit, a bit of time to settle in.
It goes back to what Brian brought up about like the deals event, like as when you're talking about like the players and the likes. You're looking at that when you said, "Is this where would you rate them?" and the likes, and you bring up Barnes and all those kinds of players. Usually, like,
Strategies from the same school, like as Zubamendi and Thiago and Rodri and all that. Like he's schooled in the same way of playing.
No, yeah. What I was just getting at is that, we understood that they were definitely high caliber players, but also we're looking back with hindsight as to how well they fit in with the team, how well they did. That's affecting how we're evaluating the deal. There's always the chance that any of the players that we bring in could flop or soar. Who knows? There's a high probability that, when you have a high caliber player, that yes, most likely that they're going to perform well for your team. But there's always a chance that they could not perform to the levels that you think they will be. And these players, there are some players like João Gomez was looked at one point. Obviously, the deal wasn't worth it for us to go for him. For a long time before this, we were trying to go for Andre. That deal obviously didn't work out, and that was for a lot less money than what we're willing to pay for this apparent, DM.
We should do a show. Okay, I'm going to stop this here. I'm going to stop you. We should do a show. Okay, and we're going to look back, and it's going to be everyone gets 3, our top 3 transfer windows. Okay, so Liverpool's 3 best transfer windows.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think was the one where we came in best? Because I know Lee will talk about Barnes and Beardsley after this.
And how?
No,
Yeah,
I mean it's obvious.
So,
the alley
DVD
window was going to be top.
Yeah,
I believe.
So to take your mind off that, we can do that.
So we rebuilt the whole attack like in one.
Because then we can talk about this again, doing that and how because we will hopefully be closer to the end of this window.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can do it like what people in the chat can do their own ones as well. What was our best, your personal best ever Liverpool transfer window?
Mm-hmm.
I think we know it won't be Roy Hodgson's famous Christian Poulsen.
Danny
Wilson.
And first, and then we got Torres the same summer, was it?
Yeah, we can do that, right?
Yeah, sure. For that? We can do that.
Yeah.
We can do that.
Yeah.
I
like that kid you have.
We might have to try to do that for tomorrow, maybe, to get our minds off of this.
Exactly. I like that kid, the guy you have up on the screen. I really want to see
exactly.
more.
Look, there's parts and points about what why I was going to try to get our minds off it before we bounce out of here. Look, what I was getting at is that we've got some very super promising talents on this team. This particular individual right here is certainly one of them. A lot of people probably didn't realize his potential until last year when he made his historic debut as one of the youngest players to ever debut for Liverpool in a game that was like very important for us too, or there's also the case where we have another youngster that just came from named Rio that I'm looking forward to seeing where he ends up being with this team. Again, I know Bajcetic isn't the player that people are saying is ready for this moment, for these big bright the spotlight to be on him as a number 6. But again, whether it's Gravenberch, whether it's Bajcetic, you know what? We have some very promising youngsters on this club. I know, and that is encouraging in itself. I know, and heck, people often that's not even including Harvey Elliott, who I know ringlets makes some people, the streets especially doesn't like ringlets, but I mean sometimes people forget how young Harvey Elliott is, and like he was given the opportunity at a very young age to be a very big part of this club, and he took it and ran with it. If it wasn't for an injury that kind of curtailed that momentum, then maybe we would have been talking even higher praise for the player. I'm just saying that there's as Bernie put it, there's positives that you can take out of negatives always.
It's just youth. Yeah. I mean, you got to have experience. It's just when you're talking about the number 6 role, you're talking about the center half role. It's just youth and inexperience is all that holds these people back in people's minds. That they're not ready. It's not about, for me, because it's easy to talk about it, but then when the chips are down over the course, you need
prepared to buy him.
Like I mean, it's up there, but I'm. It's sort of like the whole idea of you have senior players and leadership groups, spine of the team. To me, it's always kind of ideally you won't have the kids in there in the 6 and the center half role and goalkeeper, but it's to have the top quality ones around. But it's like I say, the 25-year-old instead of the 19-year-old. But Bajcetic is right there and ready to go. for me, but not ready to be the guy. It's not probably not fair to ask him to hold down that role for one of the biggest clubs in the world. A lot of pressure, dude.
Yeah, give him a
Especially
taste
when
of it,
Yeah,
along
whether
with
it's
others
fair,
players.
yeah,
yeah.
whether it's fair or
But
not,
it is a lot of pressure.
yeah,
It's a lot of pressure.
yeah,
But
it is a lot
it's
of pressure.
probably not going to help him. It's probably not going to help him. But look, I mean, all the talk is he wants to go, or we want him to go on loan.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, this
Maybe
I
that
think.
changes though now. That maybe that
Yeah,
changes.
our whole transfer window just got flipped upside down on its head. I mean, can you imagine what Hughes? Can you imagine the calls and the texts that are going on now between Hughes, Edwards, Slot? Can you
Sure,
imagine? It's probably
sure.
pretty hot right now. I'd imagine it's probably
Possibly,
pretty
possibly.
hot.
You know what though? I
Yeah.
won't say this. There was a comment though. It was about, I believe it was about Fab. It might have been about Fab, but there was a comment or question asked of Slot, and Slot's answer really said a lot. And he was kind of like, it was basically a question about like a player that was about to either go on, that was about to be sold or about to go on loan. One of the cases. He wasn't going to be with the team, and he was just like he made it as if that was the decision by Hughes and the backroom staff, and that's like as in he doesn't have any that he wasn't involved in it. He's just a coach. He takes the players he's
Yeah.
given and he makes the most of it. And
To a
like
degree as well. Yeah.
and that was,
But
and
he'll be in the loop.
I'll be sure to get the quote completely on point for us tomorrow, so that we can even address it. So because I might be doing a little bit of injustice with the paraphrasing I'm doing, but it was to the extent of like he didn't really have anything to add on it. He didn't really, like, they were asking him a question about an actual player being out or leaving and this and that, yada yada, and he was just like, that's the decision they made, and and that and like and this and that, and he was just making where as if he's not involved in those portions. He has a team in front of him, and he's going to make the best team he has from the team that he has, from the components and players he has in front of him. I'm cool with hearing that kind of response from my coach, considering that that's the situation, like, guys, and I'm cool
Well,
with
they did a retrospective on Klopp a while ago, and it's 9 years ago, 10 years ago, 10 years ago, and
Mhm.
Klopp was talking about how he thought it really strange that when he got to England, people were wondering if he'd
Oh,
be able to
yeah,
work under this structure
yeah, I saw that.
with
I saw that.
with a director of football. He's
Yeah, but that's how
like
Germany works. Yeah,
and he's like, this is where I come from. This is what
yeah,
we already do, and
yeah,
that's 10 years ago.
yeah.
And people are still haven't caught on to the fact that that's what happens. That's how it is now. As much as we may not want it to be that way, that or some people might like it, some people don't. But it is how things work now. That's why they're all called coaches, head coaches. The manager is not really. Sometimes they'll give him that title in England because it's basically it's a PR thing, because basically they know there'll be a load of stories if he's not called the manager. But so they just call him the manager, but he still has the same job. So, it is a bit, it's not quite kind of like, it is a bit unusual for someone like Slot to hear him as a manager sitting there at the table going, well, I have nothing to do with players coming and going. I mean, that's a very extreme part of it. Klopp would have been a bit more, it's a community process. We're all in together, yada, yada, yada.
Mm-hmm,
But
mm-hmm.
yeah, it would be a bit unusual for fans of a Liverpool perspective or persuasion to come out and see the manager sitting there going, well, I don't buy players. Even though we might know it to be true, it is a bit stark to hear it that
Mm-hmm.
way.
Mm-hmm. It was an interest. It perked my ears somewhat when I did hear him say the way he said it, as if it was like he just doesn't. He's neither bothered nor involved in it. So like he was just like kind of just taking the question the way it was. I'll be sure to get the exact quote, and I'll read it out tomorrow so that we can get a real contextual perception of what it was that I'm speaking on. But in case Marion does join us later, this was my little moment of zen for her. Darwin is back. He's back to posting pics on his not Instagram, on his Twitter account. He's back to posting him posting Liverpool pictures, at least Liverpool related pictures. There was a period when people were speculating that, is he going to have a future with the team because he had stopped
Just
posting.
make sure you get the whole sponsor logo in there, when you're posting.
There you go. I think it is, isn't it? I think so. There you go. There. Shout out to AXA.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
AXA.
shout out to AXA.
Yeah. But yeah, Darwin number 9. Yeah, he's
Time to shine. Time to shine, D9.
Darwin number 9 for sure.
You've had all the time in the world to get your feet under the table now, so you know the lay of the land. You're used to the weather and the fans and the football, so goals, back of the net, boot, hit ball, score goal. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, there you go.
Thanks, Darwin.
Yeah, Trey showed you how it's done, and so did Diego. Hey, he's got.
Oh, lovely goal. Jota's still sitting there thinking that was nice. That was nice. He's still sitting there.
That was with his. It was with his weak foot too. It was with his left foot.
Oh, nothing better, man. Nothing better. Yeah.
Great goal.
Look, how good we can do this season depends on how fit certain players can stay, and Jota's one of them. Jota's one of the main ones. If he can stay much more fit than he was last season, maybe about 25% more games, then we're in for a good time. I think. Yeah. Canate too. Canate could be fit properly. You know what I mean? If he's staying, I'm not buying anyone. If he'd just be fit more often, we'd have a much better season.
Yeah, but quickly to Healer, our whole transfer window did just get flipped because our whole transfer window has been based on one guy. That's it. Our whole transfer window this summer has been based on nothing but Zubimendi. That's it. Right? We haven't been after anybody else. There's been nothing else going on. It's been this whole big, massive saga, drama about Zubimendi. And now in one tweet, it's done, it's over, and the thing is gone. Yeah, it is one player, but we've only been after one player.
Yeah.
So now it's over. So now it's been completely flipped on its head in terms of, well, now what are we going to do? Are we not going to do anything? So I'm not being over. You're saying this could be an episode of Fawlty Towers. Well, yeah, this could be an episode of Fawlty Towers with this bloody transfer saga. But it's not like we've been buying 3 or 4 and we're obsessing over one guy. This is literally our entire transfer window. Is this one player? And now it's gone complete. It's done a 360, well, a 180, and it's now it's off. So if that's not flipping it, I don't know what is. I'm sorry if it's a bit over dramatic for you, but I mean, what else were we doing? What other deals were we doing? Nothing. This big one, and now it's off. If that hasn't flipped our whole perspective on what we're going to do, I don't know what will.
Yeah. What the other thing I was going to say quickly here? It's question from Youssef: is this season's Pep's last season before his contract expires or not? I certainly hope it is. A simple answer for you.
It is. He only has 1 year. This is his last year.
Yeah.
He's trying to he's trying to play it down, but yeah. And another thing was by Bonkers. Bonkers put this in. He said the hearing into Manchester City's 115 FFP charges is set to begin in September, with a verdict expected in early 2025, as according to Marty and Ziegler. We'll see about that. We'll see about that. We're still waiting on the APT thing, just to hear about what the ruling was that on. What the ruling was that. Also, real quick, this one was wild. This one I wanted to definitely get in before we bounce. Crazy, but news out of Spain is a Saudi Arabian club offered Vinny Jr. 350 million euros a year over the next 5 years. He would have become a billionaire in 3 years if that was the case. Some are reporting he has turned it down. ESPN said he hasn't yet. as pretty crazy, to say the least. Realism Jared gave us that little bit of info. That is wild. Absolutely crazy. But it would take something like that to make a player of Vinicius Jr.'s level and age to go and leave for Saudi Arabia as opposed to playing for the team that he plays with currently. So, but yeah,
I mean, that's basically given. Do you want to get? Do you want to have a serious career? Do you want to give up your actual career of being a real, legitimate footballer, or do you want to become richer than most people will ever? You know, I mean, some countries,
right?
Like, I mean, it's all about. Yeah, I mean, these guys already burning. Like, say, these guys are already earning like 500 grand a week. I mean, how much do you need? But that's the kind of offer you can expect, I suppose, when you get with these guys in the room. It's horrible, and I mean, come on, just who needs that? Who needs that? You know what I mean?
No doubt.
You know, you could live like a king on 2 million a year.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. They're coming on disrupting these young guys' careers. The Diaby one sticks in my throat. You know, proper good footballers that could earn millions a year going over there and giving up their best years to go there. Go there when you're 32, lads.
Yeah, the
go
money
there
will
when
still
you're
be
32, 33. Why are you giving up your best years? Go and win titles, real titles. The stuff your grandkids are going to love the money, but I mean,
kids are already loving the money now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Imagine the trophy cabinet. You can say my granddad won the Champions League. My granddad won 2 Premier League titles. What did your granddad win? 3 Saudi Cups and $800 million. You know, I mean, come on, lads. That's not what the sport is all about.
No. But hey, live in a different world these days, man. Live different world. Let me give you guys the opportunity to say what you would like to the people before we end up opening the cabin doors here or to the Liver Bird, allow for them to do what they need to do on their Monday. We'll start with the Irishman. Do you have anything you want to say to the people?
Oh no, I've just gone on a big rant about Saudi Arabia. So no, just have a great Monday night, and we'll see you all tomorrow again, hopefully.
Yeah, I hope so
and
too.
Yeah, best ever transfer windows. Keep it in mind.
Keep it in mind. That episode's coming. That episode is coming. Henley, last but not least, what would you like to say to the people?
Thanks to everyone for taking part. It's sad we didn't get them, but at least we know now, don't we? We know now, and we can move on.
Yeah.
That's the best thing about it. Like, the best thing about it is that we can move on from it, and we'll see if we get someone. We've still got till September the 4th transfer window. September the 4th, isn't it? So it's about 3.5 weeks or something.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. That is true. I know a lot of us don't want to push it to that. We would have already been 2-3 games into the season by then, but
about 3 weeks, haven't we? We've got about 3 weeks left of the transfer window. Yeah. So nothing's over, like, is it, in terms of us like buying nobody at all. If that's true, that we're not number 6 now, then fair enough. Like, but I don't see any reason why we wouldn't be chasing a centre back still, because we were told that we were looking for a centre back, weren't we? We heard that Slot was looking for the centre back.
We've been told different all throughout. Initially we were told we weren't going for a DM at one point, So, okay, it is what it is, because guess what? We as Reds are resilient, and we always will prosper on. So, again, keep your heads up, my Reds. Keep your heads up.
Yeah.
This is not something to get chest fallen over. If anything, I look forward to seeing everyone tomorrow. We'll definitely have whether it'll be the show that Brian just alluded to, or a show that we have in the works, another show that we might have in the works. We'll be here for you. Definitely be a place that we can at least talk about things sensibly. We don't have to get into the whole sky is falling thing. We can really just have a conversation, bring out some ideas, bring out some, and just have brilliant discussions, as always, as we always do on this channel. It's one of the reasons why I enjoy the fact that we have you as the Mighty Reds out there joining us when you do. And I hope that you will do the same tomorrow. So until tomorrow, as always, up the Reds, people. Up the Reds. Okay. Talk to you soon and see you tomorrow.